Hi everyone, here's a continuation of Essentials of an Entitlement-Free Family. And this segment is the one on being loving enough. Part of entitlement and the stress and the frustration and the doubt and the guilt is wondering if you're enough, if you're doing enough, being enough, if you know enough. And so the biggest one of all is, am I loving enough? Because when you question the lovingness of your actions, you undermine all of your relationship and your connection and your effectiveness in teaching and guiding your child, helping them go forward. So I want to begin with the poem from the book You Are My I Love You by Marianne Cusimano. I love it because it gets at the contradictions of being the parent and being the child. So let me grab my paper. So remember how it goes. I am your parent, you are my child. I am your quiet place, you are my wild. I am your calm face, you are my giggle. I am your weight, you are my wiggle. I am your dinner, you are my chocolate cake. I am your bedtime, you are my wide awake. So there's more, and you should always have the book. It's a great book. It's a beautiful bedtime reminder of all the ways we stay connected, even though your child is not you. Even though your child is bringing wildness, chaos, and yes, immaturity. I want to celebrate the messes and celebrate the immaturity. So let's go forward with being loving enough. And I think the hardest part of that is, how do you set limits? How do you say no? How do you redirect, guide, teach? Not punish. We don't want to go to that punishment model. But we want to go to that place where the child can be responsible for mistakes, for bad decisions, for bad choices, and you can also be free to make those mistakes. So what I want to say is, first, when you have to set limits, when your child is your wide awake at bedtime, I want you to imagine that you can only act with love. So instead of getting into that power struggle, that coercion, that me against you, I am going to force you to comply, to obey, to be the child that is my dream of how you're supposed to respond, and not the actual child that's in my life and in my home and crawling in my bed in the middle of the night. Start by acting with love. And so the simple part of that is that you have to flip the script. Instead of approaching with that old style of authoritarian parenting, I want you to approach with love. That by being the grown-up, by being the adult decision maker, by being the adult that has the big picture of sanity and health for your family and what's right for your child, then you make those hard decisions, but they come from a place of love. And so when you have to say no, when you have to say, no more bedtime books, I love you and I'll check on you in a few minutes. I know you don't want to go to school today, but I'm going to help you move forward. Look at the teaching, at the setting of the limits, of the containment and the de-escalation as coming from a place of love. Because sometimes the conventions of the loving, attachment, believing, trusting parent is the parent who's actually letting the pigeon drive the bus. Remember that book? Please, 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 you can trust me, I can drive the bus. But the reality is, children don't know what they're capable of, overestimate and underestimate their skills, their abilities, the moment. So they need us to help them. So start from a place of love and trust that your adult knowledge is enough and a good starting place should you need to revise. The other place where you might not feel loving enough is when your child is out of control and acting unloving. When they're screaming, meltdowns, tantrums, head banging, foot stomping, explosions of emotions, and out of control. You can still be loving enough without fixing, controlling, or changing how they feel. So point number 2 for being loving enough, accept all their emotions. It's the principle of see me, hear me, love me. I am most loving when I can accept that you are in the place you are and I will meet you there to help you go forward. So I know you don't feel loving enough, especially when your child is falling apart, sad, angry, confused, going through all the challenges of every developmental stage. And I know you don't feel loving enough when you're tired, exhausted, overwhelmed, and confused. But the bottom line is you are loving enough because you've made a commitment to a very, very, very long-term relationship, and that never ends. And that is what really matters. You are connected, you are there forever, and that all by itself is loving enough. Thanks for listening.